PathMagazine.com. Stay on the path.
Path Magazine. I'm AV along with the #1 radio single artist in the country, James Fortune. I trust you, man.
Yeah.
Part of the 2009 Radio 1 One Love cruise. And first of all, congratulations on your success. Consecutive weeks at #1. It was like 36, am I right?
Right now it's 29.
29, you're going to get 36.
Yeah,
yeah.
Speaking.
It's major, man.
Happened, yeah.
Single is hot, I trust you, but a lot of people really don't understand where you began, where you came from.
Yeah.
And I know, I've been knowing you for many years now, but just the success, man, of how far God has brought you, it's simply been on you just trusting God.
Yeah. I started at my father's church. I'm a PK, so just working, at the age of 13, just really working with the youth choir at his church. Out of that, we formed a community choir called Youth for Christ.
Right.
That started in 1998, and at that point, that's when God began to just use me just to travel around to Houston, and the Texas area. Definitely with your support, you was there at the beginning, but just to begin to minister and encourage young people to live for Jesus, to live for Christ, and that's really where it started for me.
Talk about, man, because I know at that time you had your dreams and goals.
Yeah.
Did you ever think that one day you would have a #1 single or you would have a '1 hit? Was that ever part of the desire and goal,
I mean, not at the beginning, man. At the beginning, you're young, 16, 17. You're just trying to get out there and just really, grateful just to be able to even perform and minister in front of people. So, man, to see where it is now is just, that's definitely, God has done exceedingly abundantly more than I could have ever asked, thought, or even imagined at that time.
James Fortune, Path Magazine. I'm AV. Let's talk about being consistent over time, because you have to learn how to persevere, because, even though you put out a project, it doesn't guarantee success. It doesn't guarantee that you're going to be #1.
Yeah.
But how do you maintain that persistency all the way through to get to this next level that God has brought you to?
Yeah, I think for me, it's been through humility, really understanding that whatever success, whatever accomplishments that I achieve is all because of God. It has nothing to do with me. God just using me as a vessel. So, with the success of You Survived, and it was time for me to put out my next CD, I realized that I had to trust God, to really depend on Him to give me songs that would minister to people, songs that would bring glory to His name. So, man, I think anytime you get caught up in, it's me doing this, it's me doing that, the Bible says that God opposes the proud, which means that God is actually an opponent to those who are prideful. So I think if you stay humble and realize that all of your help comes from God, He will continue to exalt you.
I trust you, Lord. I mean, it speaks to the conditions that people are facing today.
Yeah.
Our economy is upside down.
Yeah.
The housing is upside down.
Yeah.
Marriages are falling apart. Children, like the Bible says, they're wiser, but they become weaker.
Yeah.
How do we maintain that level to trust God through the storm?
Yeah, I think a lot of times we're not able to, so God has to put us in situations where we can't help but trust God. Yeah. And that happened to me about 4 years ago, AV, as me and my family were homeless. Me and my wife and our 3 children were 2 at the time. She was pregnant with our 3rd. But I was in a situation where I was like, You Survived had been successful, and I was just sitting there like, God, how could this happen? How could you allow me to go through this situation?
Right.
And that's when God began to say, James, you can trust me now. Even when you can't see me, I'm getting ready to do some great things in your life that even if I told you, you wouldn't believe. And it was at that moment in that hotel room that I began to just, write those words, God, even though I can't see you and I can't feel your touch, I still trust you. I still believe you. And now to see where the economy is in the same place that I was almost 4 years ago, God knew that there was a message, that the country was going to need at this time. And so I had to be placed in that situation so that He could get out of me what He had already placed inside of me. So now I'm able to minister to people that are going through what I went through and tell them, look, God's no respecter of person. If He brought me out of it, He can do the same thing for you.
We are live in 2009 Radio One Love Cruise, backstage with James Fortune, the #1 hit single on radio across the country, 29 consecutive weeks. I trust you, Lord. And just to say that, you went through the test before you could give the testimony that would encourage, and I like how you said it, God already knew ahead of time, because He's not a God who is surprised
He's all
by
knowing.
the signs of the times or the times that we're in.
Yeah.
But He already knew, prepared you through a test, and then you through the test could give a powerful testimony. Encourage somebody today who may be going through that test, that the test is not just for you, because like you said with Abraham, I'm going to empower you, I'm going to bless you to bless somebody else.
Yeah, it's kind of understanding, like Paul said, this light affliction is but for a moment. Understand that it's only for a moment. I know it seems a lot of time like trouble's going to last always, like the storm's not going to pass, but it's only for a moment. But God's going to work a far more exceeding weight of glory out of your life. If you can trust him, I promise God's going to bring some things out of you didn't even know were in you. Because anytime you're pressed, the things that are in you come out. So I think as you maintain and be like Paul, I'm learning to be content in whatever state I'm in, and just knowing that God hasn't forgotten about you. He sees you right where you are, and just like any good father, he's not going to put more on you than you can bear.
You're in a good state right now. You're in a good position, and I know God has taken you higher. And I'm in love with that I Trust You video, man. How did that all come together? That is a hot video.
It was favor of God. Definitely it was a Bobby Yan out of New York. God gave us favor with him. He's an awesome producer and director. He's done a lot of awesome videos on the secular side. But God gave us favor through some people we knew at BET, and we were able to get contact with him. And he actually did that video for us. We couldn't really afford his normal prices, but like I say, favor can get you things that money can't. And so we came together, man. We flew him and his crew to Houston. He came up with the concept. We kind of worked together, and there it is. So it's my first video. I'm excited because the response has been great from it.
Yeah, I Trust You, Lord. You've got to see that if you haven't seen the video. If you haven't heard the song, you need to get it. James Fortune and Fire. What's up next for you, man? Because I know you're staying busy. You're going across the country, and you have to maintain that balance because you're married with children.
Yeah,
and I know that's important because sometimes in the industry, we get so caught up in our career, and then we're lacking on this side with our kids and even in our relationships. Just before you talk about your future, how are you able to keep that balance?
I think for me, one of the great things about it is that my wife is actually a member of my group. So a lot of times we travel together. But just when I'm at home, I try to be at home.
Yeah.
I try not to still be working, on things with the ministry as much as I can. Just be a father, take out the trash, take my kids to school, just try to be at home when I'm at home. And that's really how I do it, man. You got to know when to turn it off.
James Fortune, our special guest. What's coming up next for you? What are you working on?
Just, man, continuing to travel, a lot of spot dates, looking at some tour things coming up real soon, but just continuing just to go out and minister and just continue to ride this wave that God has placed us on.
Your website?
Yeah, jamesfortune.us.
Yeah.
And also Facebook, MySpace. You can find me on there, videos, YouTube as well.
Yeah, I saw you on the Facebook. I started to hit you up on there. James Fortune, thank you, man, for hanging out with us on Path Magazine. I Trust You, the hottest radio single across the country. You got to add that to every device that you have to listen to music to it, because it'll definitely bless your soul. Thank you so much, James.
Thank you, man.
Stay on the path.